We have a more sophisticated movie-going audience, and because of that, I didn't want to rely on CGI or visual effects.
There are so many elements to the movie, between action sequences on the ground, action sequences with helicopters in the air, boat work, and all the pieces that have to be woven together into a seamless whole.
What's going to make this movie really unique and stand out is shooting it practical, shooting all the stunts practically.
He just took it to another level. I mean, he's made some really good films, and all kind of new and interesting and different, but this is definitely a cut above.
Shooting in Venice justifies calling this movie The Italian Job. If we shot it anywhere else, it just would have felt wrong.
It's just an extraordinary city. There is no noise of car, there are no bicycles. You walk, and people are walking all the time.
Shooting in the canals of Venice, that was really tough, because when you have to transport 400 people in these little bitty canals with basically boat taxis, it's tough.
We're on water, you know, it's pretty insane. You know, somebody was telling me last night they saw a family move, you know, and they had their couch and their cat and their dog on a boat.
The problem with Venice that Venice constantly has to battle is the wake from boats, the water eating away at the foundations of these buildings, the movement of rivers that have changed through the years, the things that they've done to the city.
So they have strict speed laws here with taxis and boats, and you know, we were able to, for a chase sequence, just briefly break those speed limits. So we created waves for a very brief period of time, but it's something that, you know, they really have never allowed people to do, and since it's just for, you know, a one-shot deal.
I don't think anyone's seen a boat chase like this, especially in Venice. And I don't think anyone else will ever be able to shoot a boat chase in Venice like that, because we made a few people nervous, but ultimately it worked out.
Jason, who had to pilot it at like 45 miles an hour down a 30-foot wide expanse, but you see both of our faces in the boat because he's really driving it.
I mean, I'm not experienced in a boat. And so I had a day in Los Angeles, and then I had an hour before we shot on the first day with second unit. And that's as much as I've ever done. My experience before that has been either on a paddle boat or in a canoe. It's a lot more difficult than it looks. You really have to kind of have some kind of understanding of what speed you're doing and what kind of an arc and what kind of drift you're going to take. And I mean, it's fine when you're in open water. It's when you get into these narrow, tight canals that you've got to be very precise, and it's got to be bang on. You know, we're going under these bridges as well, and there's like this much sort of air that's flying over people's heads when they're holding the camera.
We wanted something really unique, and instead of just having a car chase in the beginning of an action film or just an average boat chase, which, you know, we see quite often, to shoot a boat chase in the canals of Venice is what really made it unique.
I mean, it's big. It's big. That's all I can say.
We started the truck drop, of course, on Hollywood and Highland, above ground.
Well, the armored car explosion, we took 60 mortars and put in small lifters in each mortar. We used basically charcoal, crushed and powdered, to give the look that the director was looking for. We were on Hollywood Boulevard, where we simulated blowing up the street around the armored car. And then with the motion base, you saw how we dropped it down about the first 4 feet. Down here today at Downey Studios, we built this set, and what we've done is we've actually hung an armored car that looks identical to that. It's only lightweight that we built, and it's hanging up in our hole up top above that loose debris you see there. What we're going to do today is continue this on the drop. So what will happen is on action, we'll go ahead and release 10 dump tanks we have up there, which will start debris falling in. Then we're going to cut the cables to the armored truck, and it's all going to come falling on down.
Ready, camera, and action!
I remember we dropped the truck, and it was, the first time I think it was just too much dust and you couldn't see it. And then the second time it wasn't enough dust. And I'm thinking to myself, I only have a few chances to get this right. And if I don't get it right, I'm gonna compromise the biggest moment in my movie. And my special effects department, they worked really hard to get it perfect. And when they got it right, they got it right.
Damn.
I gotta tell you, Alan Perwin, my helicopter pilot, is hands down the best pilot in the world. I say that because for the helicopter sequence in Laura Grande, he flew that helicopter in what was essentially a tunnel with no clearance, top or bottom. And he played chicken with Charlie's Mini.
This is the first time that a helicopter enters Lower Grande and does a stunt like this. As far as I know, it hasn't been done before in any other movie. It's not an easy shoot because it's a very low ceiling, especially for the helicopter, so he doesn't have a lot of space to maneuver.
I remember when we screened it for the audience for the first time, people pulled me aside and said, well, how did you do that? Was that CGI? I said, no, this was real. He actually flew this helicopter into this tunnel and strafed left and right through 6 or 7 feet without any real clearance. And it was very dangerous because the slip of the hand, one way or the other, could have just destroyed the set and a whole lot of people along with it. And to this day, I'm really thankful that we did business with him because we wouldn't have the sequence and it wouldn't be the way it is if it wasn't for him. We had a great cast, we had a great script, a lot of twists and turns. And so if the action's practical, you put the audience right in the driver's seat. And they're not used to that, you know? They're used to visual effects, and in the back of their mind, they know, you know, it's not real.